Welcome back to the Isabelle Wellman podcast, friends. It is so good to be here. This is the place for high achieving folks to integrate their own version of body, mind, and soul alignment to live an enthusiastic life. Because with enthusiasm for life comes overcoming and processing and handling hardships, whether they are physical or mental or emotional or soulful. Today, I'm going to be sharing a hard truth, and it's a very vulnerable moment because, as you know, I am a pretty open book. I share a lot of what goes on in my life, and since about last fall, I have taken a big step back from that. And it's not that I don't want to share, it's not that I don't want to teach through my own experiences, because that, in my opinion, is the only way we can teach in an authentic way that is honest, loving, truthful, inspiring. Yet I've needed to close the doors a bit. And someone I really admire, I don't pedestal anyone anymore. I've overcome that, but someone I really resonate with is the creator of Cymbiotika, which is a supplement company and the highest tier of supplements ever. I'm not an influencer or a content creator or an ambassador for them. Maybe I will see what that process looks like, because I do align very intentionally with what they believe in and what they're doing, the power and the movement that Cymbiotika is, because it's far more than a supplement company. The founder, Chevron, he is on Instagram as that name. I believe the E is a 3. However, I can link his and the company's Instagram in the show notes. Fabulous, fabulous human. Sagittarius sun. I love my Saggy sons. They are all about speaking truth. And something he says a lot is to not overshare your life. And I've been taking that to home, taking that to my heart, because my body is my home. It's my temple. And we'll come back to that as I tell this story. So I want to share this because I feel like there are many instances in life where we are surrounded by people. And I'm not sure what your path has looked like. So for me, starting in 2020, I moved from Michigan to Alaska. And we didn't really have many friends in Alaska up until my partner started to travel for work. I got a job at a rock gym, which was saving grace. And honestly, I chose to run away from Alaska because I was afraid to commit to friendship and relationship. As wild as that might sound, I was in such a deep place and living on my moon line astrologically, for those astro lovers out there. I was in such a deep emotional internal place of being vulnerable, getting into the nitty-gritty of my heart, of my soul, of what issues were arising within me as symptoms in my body, a lot having to revolve around my breast, let me say the word right, reproductive system. There we go. Not respiratory. Reproductive system. And just a lot of, issues. Speak more on that on another episode. And with that being said, I was changing drastically. I had 2 friends, one both living in Colorado at the time, who I was communicating with and who were understanding what I was going through. Sure, I had some other people in my world on a weekly basis, a little more heavily, Yet everyone was online that I was with, that I was communicating with, us in friendship with, or over the phone. We were far apart. There's no physical touch until I moved to this rock gym and I was able to create some friendships there. And so I was having a really hard time feeling confident in who I was becoming. I was so afraid of rejection. I was so afraid that I would not convey who I was becoming and the depths of my belief as I was speaking to these new parts that were being created and cultivated. I mean, hell, if you know me, prior to 2019, I was hyper independent, hardcore, biggest ego work ethic I've ever known, never asked for help, would never take help, lived with 5 dudes in a cabin when I worked at Keystone in Colorado, and I acquired such a hard shit talking shell because that was what we were doing. And to fit in, thanks Libra rising, little chameleon as I was, not anymore, but I am really able to I was really able to shape shift to my environment to be the most pleasing, aesthetic, and fitting to the people, place, energy without recognizing it. And that was a pattern I lived with for a very long time. And so when you decide to dabble in new belief systems and practices and tools that most people you know and love even are not practicing, are not adopting, are not dabbling or experimenting in, it can make life really fucking scary. It just does. Why? Because we do not, as individuals, want to be the black sheep. God damn, if 2020 taught us anything, we do not want to be the black sheep. You know, I chose not to receive the pointy stick, and I hid that for a very long time because I did not want people to think I was selfish. I did not want people to judge me, to be afraid of me, to think I was a monster, because that was the voice and the persona being created around people, the population that was not giving in or prescribing to or going with or doing so because of other people. And I don't say that with hate or cold heartedness. I'm just saying it as how I saw it and how I perceive it. Many people did it for the benefit of family and their loved ones and older loved ones. And that is an amazing trait to have, to be so in love with the people in your life that you will do anything for them. And I commend those people, because if you felt in alignment with it, it was going and it is working for you. If you are out of alignment with that decision, with any decision in the world that is outside of your own jurisdiction, your own conviction, your own 10 commandments, if I may say, it is going to cause disruption in your body, in your mind, and your soul, and your spirit. Simple as that. So I followed my heart, my body, mind, soul, and spirit, and I live with that. And so as I use that example, it's a pretty heavy example, but it's very true and honest and vulnerable for me to share. I was feeling that with many areas of my life. I learned about astrology. I fell in love with astrology. It became a therapy for me. It became life-changing. It gave me an understanding on why I was so fucking critical of myself all the time, why I had to please people, why I had to be the center of attention, why even when I didn't want to be the center of attention, people would come to me, people would ask me questions, people would do this, that, and the other thing. And it felt unnerving. It felt like I was being suffocated by a society that expected me to be a certain way, and I didn't know how to react in my own way, in my own conviction, in my own discernment, how to take the high road versus the low road. And that is when my world blew up. And then I found a community that introduced me to high quality water and the importance of high quality water. And although there was a ability to make money with this product, I basically learn the hardships of entrepreneurship that are not the business side, but the aspect that is self-development. And wow, when you dive into self-development on that level, because it is a choice you made to promote a product that you believe is X, Y, and Z, and then to resell that to people and to share your beliefs in a way that isn't objectifying or peer pressuring or gross or icky, but is truly in alignment with you and you've never done that before, wow, do you get met with so much conflict because you are now tangoing with two sides of yourselves that are, one is very old, one is brand new. It's like having children, not that I know. However, this is what I imagine from having siblings. I have an older brother and a sister. I'm the baby. I'm sure that when my brother, who was an only child, then received a sister and then another sister, there was conflict and there was this imbalance of, oh, I thought I was this, that, and the other thing, but now there's this other creature in my orbit and they're getting the attention, the love, the care, the nourishment. What the F? Where's mine? Why am I not getting as much? And so the scale comes into balance and it's wicked. So there's never, in my opinion, I will say never because I'm believing it this much, there's truly never a right or wrong way because it's all our perception. And our perception is based on thoughts that we think over and over and over again. And if we do not challenge our perception of the thoughts that become patterns, that become our beliefs because of the repetition, our entire life, well, we're going to be set in stone until that one day something hits you upside the head. You can't live like that anymore. You're feeling like you got demons trying to rip you apart, rip your heart out, rip your head out, suffocating you with a plastic bag over your head, that you just quit. You stop resisting. You give up the fight and you go down the stream and you let yourself develop because you are now looking in the mirror at a new version of yourself you know nothing about. And that version is not going to go away. All you can do is confront it, learn about it, love it, welcome it, understand it, ask what it needs, and the story keeps going down. You learn, you adapt, you forgive, you acknowledge, you accept, you believe in new ways, you experiment. What doesn't work, you take out of the knapsack. What does work, you keep carrying on your shoulder. But if we try to pile life into a knapsack on top of old beliefs, and now it's getting 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, you're not going to be able to carry that knapsack. In fact, you're going to build chronic issues, which so many scientific research papers that chronic illness, up to a point, can be reversed through different ways and avenues. We won't go down that rabbit hole today. However, I'm just trying to make the point that the more you try to compile, the more issues are going to arise because you're trying to be everything you always were. And then what you're trying to be. You have to let go, release, process, heal, forgive the parts of self that are gullible, illusionary, neglecting reality, or out of alignment with who you really are. And who you really are is a tall tale of when you feel good, when you feel like life is naturally flowing. We are not here to figure out what's right and wrong. Even though we have so many parts in our society, one being the government that tells us there's right and wrong, there's the left, there's the right, there's this and that. So much energy goes to that, once you go through an ego death, which is basically what I went through multiple times living in Alaska, bringing on this new version of myself, rewriting my story, learning how to tell that story, learning how to convey that story in an authentic way that was not manipulating because I wanted people to like me. Wow, is that heavy? Did I understand that it was literally and always only about how I felt? As a little kid, we do everything that feels good. If something feels bad, if we discover upon falling or touching the hot stove that something's painful, that's obviously how we learn, and is a very biological survival mechanism that we have. That's amazing that our body is such a genius to present us with. Yet, if we go through life becoming afraid of everything and not processing, not healing, not integrating, not applying ourselves, then we are always going to be afraid when everything in life can kill us. So I'll rein it back that as we learn these survival mechanisms of not doing certain things, we start to listen to the other people who have long ago forgotten their connection with spirit. As a youngster, you are much closer to remaining in your alignment because you just came from source, higher energy, God, whatever you want to call it. Whereas when you grow older and you start to learn and people tell you what to do and what not to do, and you have to prescribe to these beliefs in a society and these systems and the way we do things, because that's how we always do things. And if you go outside of the way we do things, you're going to die. You're going to be the black sheep. You're going to be distorted. You're going to be thrown into jail. You're going to be killed at the stake. We adopt things that are not even ours. And so this whole process of being vulnerable, when we have gone through acknowledgement, witnessing, observing, forgiving, processing, healing, not in order of any way, and we stop giving ourselves timelines for when we have to achieve healing, quote unquote, which never ends. We're always healing. We're always processing. We're always evolving. It will never change. If we can take that with the understanding that we always have the choice to control ourselves, no one else around us, we feel relief. Honestly, do that. Tell yourself right now out loud, I have control over my life. That just feels good. That feels, for me, when I am in this alignment, when I say words that reaffirm that, I am in control of myself and myself only, my feelings, my experience, my perception, how I process, how I heal, how I cling, how I clench, how I feel frustrated and angry, how I feel like I want to die sometimes at what life has given me, how I want to be reborn, how I want to sing, how I want to feel the most potent experience of love and ecstasy that it sends tingles down my spine, to my tailbone, through my feet. And I feel like I am vibrating with an energy that is magnetic, that is rejuvenating, that is buzzing. If you have not felt that in your life, you are far from your alignment, and it's okay because you are given your free choice and control to start doing what makes you feel good. So, Isabel, how do we overcome hard truths and judgments of others? How do we do that? How do we do it? Because it's hard and it sucks. And it feels like I rather fucking die than face the truth. That I rather disappear, that I rather run away, that I rather go back into my cyclical old nature and patterns of escapism because it's so painful. You have to forgive yourself, and you have to know how much you love yourself and that you are so safe in your body. And this is not a one and done deal. I think I reiterate that all the time, but if you've never heard it, you're not just instantly going to be a certain way and always be that way. Things are going to come up to challenge you in this lifetime to affirm if you are there or not. If you are above that cycle, if you are processed, you hit that high road, you healed that part, you can be met with those experiences that were challenging, yet you know how to overcome it. And you're going to be met with experiences that are worse, that get you out of nowhere, that just stab you in the back, just like a burglar in an alley you didn't see coming. Graphic, intense, yeah, because that's how this is. And there's no downplaying how our emotions impact our mind, and how our mind impacts our gut, and how our gut impacts the hormones that we secrete, how we feel on an everyday basis. And if we are not listening to what makes us feel good, if we are not practicing getting into alignment every single day, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be pissed off. You're going to be challenged. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be sad. That's the nature of life, is for it to challenge us to evolve, to see who has got the guts to face the demons, to face the pain, to accept it and let it go into your bones and sketch itself into your body until you soften, until you've let go of the resistance. So let me hit you with my experience. This is so silly. So I share this because I've been working on this for the last week and a half, and I don't need empathy. I love words of kindness and support. However, I don't need advice, and I don't need people to tell me they're sorry about it. So this is what it was. And this might seem really silly, and it might seem very minute to the plethora of hard truths and judgments that others can give when we're talking about this level. So I want to explain that, as you know, very briefly, I will not be saying any names, but I work at a gym. And when I say work, I say that very lightly because it's actually been fucking disastrous in the sense that I have only had one client, and I interviewed to work at this place last May. They did not actually hire me until September, at which I was able to go to the gym and work out. And I will say, end of September, I received my first client. I was like, finally, we got this. It went great. Amazing client. And I went to Crete. I got back. Then the holidays came, Thanksgiving, and we had finished our 12 sessions, and we were going to wait until this year, to start. Whatever. So I've been working at this gym lightly, and it's my job. What I'm overcoming is talking to people, saying, hey, I'm a personal trainer. Are you interested in training? Have you gotten your free fitness assessment? Which is beyond hard. That is my weakness. So I haven't talked to anyone. I go to the gym, I work out really hard. I go to the gym, I work out really hard because it's my passion. It's what I'm really good at. And maybe, just maybe, someone will go, wow, I really want to work out with that passion. I want to feel good and maybe feel similar to this woman because she seems to be in a good rhythm. And I don't believe that's actually how life works. I believe we put ourselves in places that we go to because we love them, but then we are met with challenges to keep evolving us. And so that's where I'm at. So there's a part of me that has felt a little bad about being given free access to this gym, even though I don't have any clients. And that makes me feel like shit, actually, because I don't feel like it's reciprocal. And I know I get to choose to introduce myself to new people. So that's my challenge for myself in this new year. Moving forward, because I go to the gym and I work out with an intense routine. Not every day is intense because I live with my menstrual cycle and that's new. And so I adopt my intensity with where I'm at and I listen to my body and I have active rest days and we're on a really good path there. Yet, last week, first, let me describe the type of people that work out at this gym. I live in Nevada. Although Nevada is apparently a liberal state now, it's very much not. There's very certain areas, very specific areas that are perhaps liberal, but where I work out, it's very conservative. And these folks are over the age of 50 for the most part. There's a few young guns that go in there, yet connecting with them is tough because iPods or whatever the fuck you call them. Sorry, y'all. I'm on a cursing spree. I'll tone it down. The iPods for your ears. Is it? It's not called an iPod. Earpods. Earpods. Everyone's got those in. Really hard to connect because the neck break and then the phone right here, and they're all just scrolling and looking. And hell, I get lost in it sometimes too. So I'm not judging, but like it's hard to connect with younger people. So that's my other challenge, going up to people who look busy, which the people pleaser in me that I'm overcoming doesn't like to bother people. So I'm addressing my own avenues of weakness as I'm telling the story because I'm not blaming, shaming, judging. I'm simply sharing my experience with what made me feel pretty bad. So another thing about me to make this story cherry on top of the cake is that sophomore or junior year in high school, I decided to do No Shave November. I was like, this is going to be awesome. It's 2012, 13, and I'm not going to shave my legs. Sick. It was amazing. That was the first time I'd ever done anything that was truly rebellious to the system. I was like, whoa, I'm edgy. I'm super cool. I'm different. I'm unique. I'm doing the thing. Hilarious. Very Sagittarius thing of me to want to just pop out and be bold and different and blunt about life with my leg hair. And so I continued the tradition. And then when I lived in Colorado, I decided to go from November to February 14th, which I proclaim as my half birthday, which sometimes it's not. My partner really let me down when he looked it up because he's so logical and on point that he said that February 12th was my half birthday. So I'd go with this basic, November, December, during 4-month period of not shaving my legs. And it's been amazing until this year. I decide to not shave my armpits, my pubic area, or my legs. And I went full bore to the wall. And I loved it. Loved every minute of it because I was free. I didn't need shave. I took way less time in the shower. I was always wearing pants, except for in the gym when I wear shorts, because I love wearing shorts in the gym. If it's leg day, you'll never catch me wearing pants. That's a sin to my body. I need to sweat. I need to breathe. And so I'd never experienced not having armpit hair as long as I had. I trimmed it a couple times, honestly, because it was like, whoa, that's some long armpit hair. And I just did that with scissors, so I wasn't shaving it by any means. But last week, my boss asked me to meet her in her office. And, God bless her soul if she ever finds my podcast and listens to this episode. And I'm not degrading her or what she had to do because of her job as the boss and owner of this gym. So I'm not using this as an excuse to talk shit or blab with unconscious words. This is me just sharing an experience for anyone out there who's ever had something hard told to them. So, very kindly asked me to her office, very kindly started the conversation with, this is the hardest conversation I've ever had to have. And I think you're great. You're amazing. You're this and that. Love watching you work out. But I've had some complaints and I've had such a hard time wanting to bring this up to you. I needed to talk to it with my therapist, which made me really alarmed and really afraid, as if, wow, this is such a big complaint that you had to talk to someone about it. Like, what am I doing that's so horrific? And she was honest in the sense that I smelled, that people were complaining about my smell in the gym. And so, again, I'm not saying this because of empathy or any of that. I'm really saying it because this was a big personal insult. I felt so outcasted and horrible after this conversation. And she continues with, at first I was just brushing it off because you're all natural. Like you have the hair, you do your thing. And I love it. Like you're natural. Very kindly saying all of this. Never trying to be pretentious or mean whatsoever. So I really appreciate who and how this was brought to my attention. However, it made me feel really bad to know that it's been happening for so long, that people have been complaining about my smell and my all naturalness. So that, broke me in half. We had a bit more conversation, and then she said, all right, like get back out there, work out, do your thing. La 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 la. Well, I walk out of the office and my nervous system is going crazy. It's haywire. It's like, oh my, I don't know what to do. I feel unsafe. I feel outcasted. I feel like I don't belong here. I feel rejected. I feel ashamed. I feel fucking embarrassed. I feel fucking embarrassed. Who wants to train with someone who smells? Who wants to pay money to hang out with someone for an hour, learn about someone who smells, who's different, who has body hair? So, my mind is now creating stories and beliefs and assumptions at this point. I'm kneeling down by my gym bag and I'm deciding, do I stay or do I go? I decided to go. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't be in there. I felt like I would have rather been let go from that gym and told like, hey, it's not working out, than hear what she told me. And I don't regret any of the moments that led up to that because it was something I needed to deal with. And so I get in the car and I start to cry because I feel so embarrassed and ashamed. And during this time, it's Aquarius season. We had some configurations in the sky. The full moon in Leo just happened. Nothing like a slap to the head than your ego getting personally insulted. And I was brought back while I was sitting in that car, in my truck, my partner's truck, to a memory as a child. And it was a memory from a birthday party at a hotel with a pool. It was a pool party. I fucking love pool parties. The best parties ever. You get to play in water. So much fun. And I remember that 5th or 6th grade, I had started my period kind of early for my age, and I grow mega fast hair. My hair grows like weeds in a garden. And hair's not bad. Hair's not shameful. Yet, when you're 6th or 5th grader in a northern state of Michigan, where there's a way of being and looking and doing, and when you're confused and you opted out of the birds and beads call when you were a child because you're like, no way, I'm a 4th grader. I'm scared. I don't want to learn about this. Why are we all like, why do we have to be separated, boys and girls? I don't want to be different. I just was very behind on the memo when it came to how to be a woman. And I didn't ask for any help. I never asked my sister or my mom to explain anything. They just assumed that I knew what I was doing because I was really good at being independent and hiding when I was afraid or unsure for the most part. And so this memory was of a boy who pointed out my pube hair as a 5th or 6th grader and getting laughed at by everyone because I had pubic hair. Do you know how traumatizing that is as a 5th or 6th grader to be laughed at because you have fucking pubic hair? How cruel is that? And how wildly insane is it to laugh at a natural process of the body? So that moment came and it hit and it felt horrible. And I drove home after gathering myself and I'm fighting myself. I'm instantly fighting myself, trying to see the good of it, trying to not feel bad, trying to fight the pain that is deeply burning, as if there's a small flicker that is now engorging my body in a full flame. Thankfully, my partner is sick-ish and he was working from home. And I get in the door. I had only left 20 minutes prior and he's confused. He hears the truck pull in. Dogs are barking. I walk in. Something's wrong. What happened? Well, I didn't lose my job, but I wish I would have. And I explain the situation. And I just cry. And I let myself cry. And I let myself admit that I'm embarrassed, that I feel bad, that I feel sick, that I don't think I belong anywhere, that I'm never going to be a good personal trainer, that no one's ever going to want to train with me because of how different I am, because of the beliefs that I live in, which is living a pretty darn natural lifestyle, because we are natural creatures from a natural world and a supernatural world. Why do I have to put myself in a fake ass box to fit in the constructs of these other people's beliefs? And I went down this dark hole. And oh, when I tell you that I had not had anything sting like that in 4 years. I'm pretty good at bringing emotion in, letting it do its thing, forgiving myself, alchemizing it, and learning, integrating, applying into life. But this just sucked. This just hurt my heart. And when you get personally insulted or you're given a judgment, it sticks with you. It makes you feel bad. It makes you feel alone. It makes you feel, well, you're not worthy. And there are not a lot of feelings that feel better than that or feel worse than that. So when it comes to sharing this story, all last week, I got the news last Wednesday. So it's been a week. Got the news last Wednesday. Went straight home. I didn't go to the gym until today. I took 6 days off from the gym. That's bad because although it's not bad to take time off of the gym ever, me personally, the gym turned from being my safe place to go to a really scary place to go. And it turned into my playground where I felt the strongest, where I felt invincible and totally in my power, to the opposite. I felt powerless. I felt neglected. I felt alone, judged. I felt like I didn't belong or fit in, like I was being told to go away. And that was my safe place. My safe place now turned into my unsafest place to go because I'm not really in the world as much as I was when I worked for other people, when I worked at ski school, when I was dealing with 100 different energies plus a day. I hardly and rarely ever deal with more than 15 energies max a day. I've become so strong in my ability to protect my energy, be so conscious and aware and present that yes, I slip. I'm not always in that state, but when I am present and I'm there, I am strongly in my conviction of who I allow to affect me, what I allow in my space, what I allow my brain to chase in thought or theory or philosophy or wonder or hypothesis. And when someone who is in that bubble, who you respect and want to please because you want to be professional, you want to work with, you want to contribute, tells you something really hard and they don't mean any harm by it, you're now battling yourself and yourself with self. Because when you get to the place where you know that when you're told kindly about something that is hurtful to you and they know it's going to be hurtful, you can immediately take them out of the picture, which is what I did. It was all about me at this point and the people who had made these complaints. And I don't know who they are. So today was my first day back in the gym and I walked in and, well, let me back up a minute. I got to the parking lot and I sat in my truck and I literally called upon benevolent beings of love and light, which is what I do when I'm going anywhere with energies that are possibly intense. And I ask for my ancestors, spirit guides, and archangels to protect me, to help me feel safe, to help me love myself and work out with my same intensity, with my same conviction, with my same attitude, with my same positivity, with my same amount of love for people, to help me stay compassionate, to help me know that I'm in complete and utter control of my experience, feelings, perspective, body. And it's okay what other people think. And on the 13th, I shaved my legs everywhere because the day had come. I didn't want to do it on the 14th. I just made it a day earlier. Actually, after that conversation last Wednesday, I shaved my armpits right when I got home because I figured it was the armpit hair that people were judging and the leg hair people were judging and not actually my smell. And from there, I took 10 minutes of priming myself to go into the place that once was the safest place for me to go and now felt unsafe. How do you not sweat in a gym when you are actually working out? I am now a little self-conscious about working out intensely, and I am working through that at my own pace so that I'm not that way, because when you're working out, sweating is that's the part. You're detoxing the body. And as someone who doesn't wear deodorant, because it's not good for you. Many scientific papers on that. I just wash my armpits in the shower, and that's what I do. Today, I have this natural spray mist for after showering for my face. I put it in my armpits. I put essential oils in my armpits before I went to the gym. When I'm in my vehicle, my heart is racing so badly because I'm so anxious to go in this gym, to see my boss, to be around whoever had complained about me, to show my face in a place where my boss had probably talked to a handful of people about the situation, where my coworkers probably know about the situation, where there are whispers, obviously, behind your back. And my heart racing made me fucking sweat more. Before I even got to the workout, I was sweating. I smelled because I was thinking about it, because I was so afraid, because I was anxious. So I get there. I have a hoodie on intentionally to hold in my smell. And I go to the bathroom and I wash my armpits because I'm anxious and I don't want to get in trouble. And I want to please and be professional and be civil and not run away because I do not want to repeat the old patterns. I do not want to look weak. I do not want to look like and feel like other people's opinions control my life. So, as though it was fucking hard to go in that gym, to feel happy, to feel love, to feel compassion, to want to feel good. Because I was battling it the whole time. I was on nerve the whole time. But for me to perform my workout, do my thing, say hi to the people that say hi, and do my daily shower after I'm done and walk out, it was the first step for me to get back in there. Going a week without working out for me, when I'm not taking rest days active and I'm just not going to the gym, I'm resisting the gym, that's something wrong because that's my habitual nature to show up, to work out, to tend to my garden, my temple, my body, it's my home. My temple is my home. My body is my home. If I don't feel safe in my home, just like our physical homes, if you don't feel safe in your home, you can't sleep. You can't eat. You don't feel joyous and as happy as you always do because of the people who are around you and who do love you and all of the opportunities and amazing things that happen in every single moment of every single day. When you get hit with a truth that is hard to swallow, with a judgment, with an opinion, with a complaint, it's not easy to shake. And it's going to look like a different story for everyone, depending on where you are in your journey of self-actualization, in your journey of self-confidence and self-worth and self-acceptance. If I had not done all of the work I've been doing since 2019, 2020, I would not have been able to do that. Old me would have cried in the office, would have had excuses, talked on impulse of the emotion I was feeling, run away, quit the job, and not pursue personal training again. That would have been my pattern. The path of least resistance, because it was me not dealing with my problems. But that is not actually the path of least resistance. That's what I thought it was. But did I ever feel better? But did I ever feel redeemed? Did I ever feel confident? Did I ever feel competent after a conversation like that? After running away, after denial, after crying, after feeling sorry for myself and victimizing myself and blaming other people? No. Short answer, long answer, no, I didn't. I never felt good after running away or after complaining or needing to call someone right away to tell them my issue, to tell them my problem, and to make them feel sorry enough for me to give me advice and make me feel better. And that's that. Yes, I have selectively chosen certain people to tell this story to because of them being close in my orbit, that I trust them, and that they are where I feel safe. And so if I can share a story, an experience from my life that felt very scary and anxiety ridden and full of me getting stuck in loop patterns on how these people are, how these people think, what do these people even know? They don't even know me. They don't even work out. They hardly even move their bodies. They don't even know what real working out is. They'll never be as strong as me. It could go on and on and on. I could say fuck them in my head. I could say their opinions don't matter in my head. None of that is going to make me feel better. So if I can share in a loving way my experience to people who are open to hearing and listening and holding the space about what happened, then I can redeem that safety because I am allowing myself to speak on an unsafe situation with people that make me feel safe. So I am cultivating the sense of safety. I'm cultivating the reminder that I'm loved exactly how I am. And not that I'm seeking validation or seeking love outside of myself. But when we are in these situations, we need love and we need support, and we get to choose to ask for it. We get to choose to ask someone, hey, I have this situation I'm dealing with. I don't want your advice or you to pity party me or you to badmouth the other side, whatever that is. I want you to give me your honest and truthful opinion and questions to help me discover and go deeper in the situation with me. Does everyone have a person like that? No, probably not. I'm very lucky to say I do because of how conscious and deliberate I choose people. So if you don't have someone to share that with, you write it in your journal first. You share it with yourself in an honest opinion days after the event happened. Give yourself the time to grieve, to be in that space, to feel like you die when you think about it, when it hurts. There's no fighting that. There's no resisting that. There's no denying the feelings you feel. They are valid. They are there for a reason. They're showing you a part of yourself that is still being affected by something perhaps in your past or by a disbelief you have about yourself. And so the biggest disbelief that I was being confronted with was self-doubt in who I am and who I was. And so if you don't have someone, you write it down in your journal. You speak it to yourself in the mirror. You call a mom or dad or someone at work or someone in your family or someone in a friend group, or you go find a group that you can talk about it with. The next thing you can do is you can be radically vulnerable with yourself, and you can sit in meditation or you can go for a walk and you can allow it to absorb you, to consume you, so that you can get to the very nitpick point of what is being triggered inside of you. Like I told you, the story about the pool and people laughing at my pube hair as a young child. That was 11 or 12 years young, maybe even 10. And I was getting laughed at. I was getting mortified. I was embarrassed. I was outcasted. I was not accepted. I was the joke. I don't think anyone really likes being the joke on a bullying level. And so when these experiences happen, as they will, to shake you, to show you parts of yourself that have yet to be integrated, that have yet to help you evolve as a human. Like I said, the person that you want to become, they're in the mirror, you look at them every day, and they're not going to let the same things that trigger them trigger you as who you are now. So, to become the person you want to be, you have to have the experiences you don't want to have in order to become that version of yourself. Because if we're not being challenged, if we're not being shown this path of life that brings us curves balls, if we're so limited to our comfort zone that we never try, that we never prevail to move outward, or that we have these horrible experiences happen and we deny the pain, that we deny the impact they have on our lives, that we lie to ourselves, how are we ever going to feel safe in our own bodies to come to a place of self-love, acceptance, confidence, worth? How is that even going to happen? That's merely impossible. So you have to get right with yourself. So you do this. You stay in your home, you either rage it out, you go to the very depth of the emotion. So you could put pillows around you on a bed, and you could, when you're safe in your home, no one's around, go crazy like a wild animal, slam them with two fists, scream at the top of your lungs, cry, wail, punch, whatever you need to do to go into the depth of the emotion of the experience and talk with the demons, to be assertive with them and say, hey, I see you and I welcome you, and we're here right here and now, and I'm going to fuel you. I'm going to let you consume me. And on the other side of this, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to feel lighter. I'm going to feel like I have a clear understanding of what's going on. I'm going to maybe get images and visions or memories that come up that resonate with this similar feeling. And then I can take the time to go into those moments, situations, words, so that I can alchemize this situation, let it show me what it needs to show me in my life so I can zoom forward. So this, for me, is a very big learning lesson of the world having various opinions, and not everyone is going to love you, no matter how nice you are, no matter how sweet you are, no matter how considerate you are, no matter how compassionate or loving or kind or polite you are going to get shit on. You're going to be challenged. People aren't going to like you. People are going to judge you because they don't know you. And am I going to react the same way I always would? Or can I react in a new way? Can I muster up the courage after some time off to go to the gym? Thankfully, my period did happen and I pulled the butt muscle during the 6 days. So I allowed myself to stay home for those reasons, as well as feeling anxious and afraid and nervous and jittery to go back to the gym, which is really sad, because when you have a place that is safe and then it becomes unsafe, undoing the caution tape that you put up, the walls, the armor, whatever level of defense that you need to put up to tell yourself, hey, don't go there, it's not safe. Don't go there, you're going to get harmed. Don't go there, you're going to be X, Y, and Z. And so I put up caution tape because 6 days later, I was able to go back. But perhaps you have a drywall up, or perhaps you have a door that's locked, or perhaps you have a castle. Each one is going to be a different amount of work that you need to do to bring it down, from castle to drywall to door with a lock to caution tape to nothing. And there is no time frame on how long this will happen, how long this will last. It is literally and only up to where you are. And maybe to overcome this process, you need new tools. Maybe you need therapy. Maybe you need to go through a plant medicine journey. Maybe you need to have a rage ceremony with yourself. Maybe you need to talk to that person that confronted you in the first place about it deeper. Maybe you need a journal. Maybe you need medication for a short period of time because the feelings are so intense. None of this is wrong. None of it is wrong. Because how you process a situation that is emotionally intense is everything. Like I said earlier, your emotions are your thoughts. Our thoughts are in our brain. Our brain chemistry secretes different responses from synapses that require different secretions of hormones within us that allow us to feel and metabolize and digest and circulate and breathe and feel relaxed and stressed. And so if we are not getting to the bottom of the emotional root by embodying it, by writing it down, by talking to someone, by welcoming it in, and who cares how long it takes, just as long as we can feel the path of, hey, I want to feel better. And I know that it's not going to happen overnight. Maybe it does, and it's an amazing experience because perhaps it wasn't that intense. But maybe I need longer and I need professional care. I need X, Y, and Z. I need to learn more about myself. I need to do personal development, or I need an astrology chart reading, or I need to learn about my human design, or just whatever it is. And that is how we can take the steps towards healing from hearing unwanted truths and judgments that are really hard to swallow and process. Just taking a moment to sit here and be in the silence for a moment, honoring whatever has been coming up for you throughout this conversation, thanking you for your ears, for your heart, in listening to this podcast. Feeling deep reverence for your own experiences and remembrances from your past, or the moments that come up for you around hearing the hard truths and overcoming them. Ultimately, before you do any of the tools or processing, I really strongly, truly believe you need to know what your moral compass is. And that involves knowing your values. Because once you know your values, you can get your thoughts in order of what is true and what is not for you. And it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or believes or perceives. It honestly doesn't. You live with you and you love you and get to love you. You get to die with you when the physical body can no longer continue forward, and you just go back up and you're like, yo, that was a great experience. See ya. Like, however you believe you end, whether you're walking into God's gates and he welcomes you with love and brings you just right back with the other angels, or you think you meet the version of yourself that you were given the potential to become, and you say, wow, I was really off, or wow, I nailed it. However you want to see that is so impactful to how we hold ourselves, how crucial we make this work of vulnerability, of emotional expression, of genuine honesty with what and who we are, yeah, when you know your values, a lot is sorted out for you. And if you want to know how to find your values, there's a podcast episode on that. So go find it. I think it's from October, right before I left for Crete, Greece. October 8th or so. So go ahead, look for that. And I'll reiterate it one more time. Know your values. Know your values. If you have an experience, no matter what it is, when it comes to personal judgment, personal violation, hard truths to swallow about yourself from other people, whether they are true or not, especially when they're in a workplace or a caring facility or a family or a relationship, a friendship. It will help in that regards. And it's then finding the tools that work for you, where that's sharing with another or yourself. It is learning what makes you feel safe. How can you cultivate more safety in your life so that you can get back to that and not live in this unsafe feeling in your body that will disconnect you from everything. It sucked the life out of me all last week. I would be home where normally I'd be happy and thrilled. And I was sad. And I just told my partner, I'm really sad. And I did really good today. I had these races. I went and I coached them. It was really, really fine and dandy. But on the car ride home, once I got here, it hit again. And it was just consuming my head all over again. So it's being able to admit where you're at as each day goes, because not every day will be same, and by God, it will not be linear. This process of healing and journeying, processing, forgiving yourself and the other, because feeling mad and blaming, that's only harming you. You're the one feeling it. You're the one invoking it within you. You're the one welcoming that into your life. Whereas, yes, I understand 1000%. You don't just forgive after one day. That's why I'm explaining this entire podcast. It takes time and it's a practice. You don't show up to a Major League Baseball game, never having played baseball, looking to get on the team. That doesn't happen. Same with any sport or any craft. You're not just a master painter after one paint and wine night with the girlfriends. You practice. You practice it because it matters to you. You practice it because you know it's going to help you. You practice it because you want to refine and tune and learn new methods and experiment and see if something works better than other things. And you show up no matter what. You show up if it's an active rest day. You show up if you're doing only specific sorts of practices and tools, or you try them all out. It's up to you on what you need in that moment. It's up to you to be connected to your body, mind, and soul in that way. That's what this podcast is about. It's about learning how to connect with your body, your mind, and your soul through the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Because we're all that. All of us. Even if you don't believe in spirituality, you're still a spiritual being. You're still energy, baby. That's just the truth of it. You don't have to believe it because that's your world. But I know it in my bones and in my body, and I do not have to force my beliefs onto you because I trust you. I trust that you are where you are and I am where I am, and I'm bringing into my world whatever my focus is on, whatever I've been relaying in my mind, whatever I've been practicing, repeating, tuning to, and it's a beautiful journey through all the pain, through all the hiccups. It's life. It's okay to not recognize who you see in the mirror. And it's okay to not scrutinize them either. And it's okay to take on tools you resisted or never thought you would take as a part of your journey. It's okay. It's okay to want to be better. It's okay to want to heal. It's okay to want it to just be over. It's okay to want to run. It's okay to want to give up. But is that really who you want to be? And is that who you're really here to be? And could you, just like the buffalo walks through the storm to get through it fastest instead of running and hiding and bearing the entire storm out, can you be like the buffalo? Can you walk through the storm no matter how long it is, no matter how harsh it is? Can you have that much perseverance and resilience to at least want to try, to do? Because anything you do, you're doing. If you're trying, you're not just trying, you're doing it. You're doing the thing. And the other tools are to meditate, talk to a professional, find a system that works really well for you to overcome hard situations. And that's how you make it through. So I'm 1 week out and I feel pretty good. Going to the gym today was a very big step and I'm very happy I went and I feel loads better about it. And I know what I need to do on my end so that I feel the energy is reciprocal, that I feel I want to train there, and that I will receive and I am receiving new clients. And that is how it's going to be. And if I use this as an opportunity to look at other gyms that fit more in my style, in who I do want to train, because I have a specific type of person I want to train. I want to train younger, active, devoted athletes and people, whether they work out just because they want to look good, feel good, because they are training for a marathon or a bike race or a run or a swim, because they want to compete in ski competitions. I want to train people who have a vision for themselves. I want to train people who want to feel good and feel better and to learn about their connection of the body, mind, and soul, who want to adopt a way of living that is more selfish. Because if you're selfish, I want to hang out with you. I want to be around you because you know what you want and you know what you don't want. And when you know what you don't want, you go towards the things that you do want when you're in the creative flow of welcoming the questions that are constantly going to arise in your life because you want to give them answers and you want to expand and you want to grow. Growing pains, not always going to feel comfortable, but if you can get back into the, oh yeah, the opportunity. Oh yeah, that sparkle of glimmer that I see when I first began or before I began, because it was all an idea. I had it clear in my mind, but now it's real and it's kind of scary and things are crumbling and it's kind of tough. And I'm not sure how to break through this conundrum to get to the other side that I see my vision back in again. They're all moments that we get to open up and become more playful and soft and curious like a child. Connected back to our higher source. Connected back to who we really are. Who we really are. And so, before we sign off here, I want to go through this thought process. So this is a teaching of Abraham Hicks. If you don't know them, YouTube it. Who is Abraham Hicks? You'll get the story. And I listen to them about every other morning. And I'm reading a book by them called The Astonishing Power of Emotions. Let Your Feelings Be Your Guide. I've had this book since 2020. Haven't read it until now. I know exactly why. Perfect timing. And talks about upstream thoughts and downstream thoughts. Upstream thoughts are, I'm never going to get better. People don't like me. I'm such a loser. I smell. I'm too different to fit in. No one gets me. I hate how they make me feel. I can't believe them. The audacity. These people can go fuck themselves. Those are upstream. They're resistant. They're negative. They are not helpful. They make you feel powerless. And they overall just suck to listen to. It's all complaining. It's all victim. It's all just low road. And so, of course, you are where you are, and you might be there. I was there for a little while, for a day or so, but it doesn't feel good. And so, all right, I'm going to bring in things that resonate with these really negative, unpleasant feelings, because that's what my focus is on. Where your energy goes, where your focus goes, energy flows. Where your focus goes, energy flows. And so this is what it can look like to go from upstream thoughts to downstream thoughts. And I'm going to actually read an example from the book just so I say it in the right way. I don't want to mess these up. Where are the ones I want to say? So, in this example, just so you have a background, it's talking about my might controls me and I feel smothered. So this is what the thoughts feel like. And so this is how you would start where you are and find downstream statements. So I feel smothered. I'm tired of having to consider what my wife wants regarding everything I do. I wish she'd get involved in something that would take her attention away from me. That's where you are. Those are, hey, there's a problem. I wish this person would change because if they changed, my life would be better. You are only in control of yourself. You ever try to change someone? Doesn't work. There's resentment and independence that gets thrown onto you as the person trying to supply the emotional change in them. And then they stop acting for themselves, stop choosing emotional states for themselves, and they rely on you to invoke those emotional states within themselves. So if you're not trying to make them happy and feel loved and validated, they're going to be like, what the hell? And so the book says, so that is where you are. Now, rather than looking for relief by getting your partner to change in some way, try to find relief through your own thoughts. And it continues, regardless of what my partner wants or thinks, I can think my own thoughts. I do not have to consider her response to my every thought. A big part of what I feel is because of what goes on in my own mind. I am free to think my own thoughts. This is a stream that is definitely more downstream, and you are now feeling better. It continues, my mate isn't really trying to control me. Our way of living together has just evolved. It isn't that I actually disagree with her about much of anything. We're very compatible in many ways. She has never tried to dominate or control my thinking. My feeling of being smothered is more about my jumbled mind than anything else. I can sort out my thoughts if I try. I'm in control of my own thoughts. These are endless subjects that I can focus on. I am free to pursue any interest I decide on. And then once you get to the downstream thoughts, it's rather easy to continue to find better feeling thoughts. I don't have to sort out everything at once. Our relationship is predominantly very positive. I'm experiencing no actual confinement. That smothered feeling has now lifted completely. If it ever returns, I know why and what to do about it. And so, after one session of practicing different feeling thoughts, you are probably not going to solve your problems. So that's why I reiterate, it's a practice. For me, it looked like going from that was a personal insult. That insult made me feel really bad. I can't believe those old fucks think they can judge people in 2023. What makes them more allowed in the gym than me? I don't belong there anyways. I'm always the problem. 2, my way of living makes me feel happy. I get to make the most out of my experience of my first personal training job. I can be professional and meet my boss halfway. I get to choose how I show up and how I feel about these people. I get to choose if this makes me feel bad or good. I love the gym. The gym is my safe place. The gym makes me feel like I'm at home. It's where I excel. When I excel, I feel like I'm on top of the world. When I excel, I feel like I'm doing my part. When I'm doing my part, I know that I'm helping other people. When I'm helping other people, I feel like I'm in alignment with why I'm here and what I'm here to teach and guide others to learn about themselves and in themselves. So that went from very heavy about the other people, what they think, and my embarrassment issue. And then I let it down to, oh, the gym. Like, I love the gym. The gym is my saving grace. The gym is my playground. The gym makes me feel unstoppable in the outside world. It gives me confidence. And if I can convey confidence, maybe I can help teach other people to have confidence. If I'm teaching other people or guiding them through my own experiences, maybe they can come to their own realizations and take on this journey of practicing and integrating tools and forgiving themselves and developing more self-love. And then when we have more people with self-love, we're doing a greater job in this world to help not control everyone outside of ourselves. And when I don't control anyone outside of myself, I feel really good. And that is where I'm going to leave you on today's podcast. I do want to say, if you are someone out there who listens to this podcast and you have something going on, you're having a tough time working through an experience that is ringing up some big emotions, and maybe you're nervous to talk to a therapist or you're not quite ready for that step, I'm here for you. Just as this podcast is here to ensure you don't feel alone in a world that can make different people feel really lonely, oftentimes high achieving people, healthy people, because if you don't know, 50% of our population is obese or considered obese at this point, if not overweight. And it's about 25 or 20% for children, obesity. So it's more unnatural for you to be healthy than to be unhealthy. In a world that scrutinizes you for doing life differently, for having success in your own way, that can feel really challenging, depending on whatever it is you're undergoing. I see you, I hear you, and I validate your experience. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Today and always, I invite you to be inspired to go out into your corner of the world and create a positive and enthusiastic ripple effect. And I will catch you on the next episode.